Hi everyone. Within the span of a few months, we've seen what amounts to the shutdown of the world. Travel, commerce and economic productions have ceased. Millions have been forced out of work and ordered by governments to stay home. Hundreds of thousands have been infected and tens of thousands are dying from a virus that few of us knew existed at the beginning of this year. Here in Australia, we've felt the effects with schools, restaurants, gyms and other businesses being closed for weeks. Significant job loss, limitations on travel, and of course, the restrictions churches have experienced with being unable to physically meet. In the last month or so, we've been slowly winding back these restrictions, only to be confronted with further outbreaks of coronavirus here in Victoria in the past week or so, which has seen the reintroduction of some restrictions. In the midst of this crisis, many of us are reflecting on what are God's purposes during the pandemic? And what does it mean for the future of the church? These are good questions to be pondering and have had me wondering whether God is speaking into our hearts at the moment about our ultimate purpose and what it means for us to truly flourish as the Church of Jesus Christ in 2020. Our faith teaches us that God does not cause evil, but he does permit it. God's ways may always remain mysterious to us, but we can be confident in his love for his creation and for each one of us. We know his love is true because we have seen the heart of Jesus Christ. Jesus came into our world with compassion as a healer and one who would bring a reversal of fortunes to the sick, the downtrodden and the marginalized. In every place he went, Jesus brought the love of God to people who were blind and deaf, paralyzed and handicapped, epileptics and lepers, those afflicted with chronic pain and suffering. Jesus moved through this world with his heart open in compassion and his hands open to serve others in love. In John chapter 13, verse 15, he tells his followers, then and now, I've set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Throughout the church's history, followers of Jesus showed great love in times of plagues and epidemics. They nursed the sick, buried the dead, and consoled the grieving, often at great sacrifice and risk of their very own lives. Maybe in this time of crisis for the world, God is giving us the opportunity to truly flourish and pursue his purposes for the church. These are strange times where our movements are restricted. We can't physically gather in our church buildings. We can't throw our arms around loved ones, kiss our kids or grandchildren. Some of us can't go to work or even play sport. There are many things we can't do, and we feel the sadness of these losses. But there is one thing we can do. We can still love. We can drop a meal over to someone who is struggling with their health or finances. We can encourage those who are doing it tough. We can use our finances to bless the poor and offer aid and compassion to those in need. We can love. Even at a social distance, we can love through phone calls and social media platforms. We can pray for one another. We can listen with understanding. Where there is love, there is God. So let us love. Let us fulfill God's purpose for the church and truly flourish. Over the next 3 months, members of the BUV staff are providing a weekly devotion series based on our Flourishing Church framework. The first instalment in the series has just been published and is based on one of the main hallmarks of our congregational life, discipleship. These devotions come to you with our hope that they will bless and enrich you. Can I also encourage you to share the series with your church leadership and community as we consider and reflect on how to flourish as the Church of Jesus Christ. God bless.